How's everybody doing today? Today we're going to go over the other map of Zena Halpern's that was in her information that shows the reference to Rochefoucauld, and the young lion of Talmont, which is Louis the First, and I'll show you later about that. Also, I want to do this video about the anchor stone, which is mentioned on this map, which will be in the airing tonight of Oak Island. I just realized this when I saw a commercial about Oak Island last night. It's interesting that they're going to actually bring up the anchor stones, something that I've been theorizing for the last couple of years here, that this information that Zena Halpern has presented is credible and relevant to the mystery on Oak Island, even though it is a copy or copies of copies. It's not the original information, as this map here is a copy of something that was seen by somebody and they copied it down, and they are presenting it to Francois Rochefoucauld in the, I believe he was in the 15th century. He was a writer, and we can start with the interpretation of the message, which is in Middle to Old French. And on this map I have in red, these are, anything that is in red is in Old French, or it has words that relate, or syntax that relates to Old French. I'm not a French expert, so I might have people that are going to say argue against it. But the way I did this was I used this Anglo-Norman dictionary, and if I find a word that is in here in this dictionary, then I consider it to be Old French or Middle French. Now, Middle French is the transition between the middle 1300s up to the 1700s or 1600s, where modern French really took hold. And it was a time, a period of a couple of hundred years where Old French was still being used alongside modern French. And if it's in green, it's pretty much, it's modern French. However, it doesn't mean that it wasn't used for the Old French time period or the Middle French period. So I guess what I'm saying here is that this is a combination of Old French and modern French, which to me perfectly makes it a Middle French in the time period, which is the mid 1300s, and it verifies that that is the fact with this data. So at the top here it says, I'm not going to read what it says in French because I'll just massacre it, but it says up at the top here, this drawing for M, and I don't know if this says Francois, but I'm seeing it as Frangorska, which may be a nickname. Maybe this does say Francois. It's just written to where I can't see it. Rochefoucauld. And this M stands for his title. And the next thing it says, one small drinking glass of learning. So whoever's giving this to him, either a woman or a man, has copied this for him and is giving it to him to learn about. He's either going to explore it or write about it. I think it's the latter, that it was given to him to perhaps do a piece of writing. But if you look at this map, everything on here I have translated. It is clearly, some of these are different from what they have on the show, but I'll walk around this map. And this is over here on the left, start at the top left. This is the most interesting part. And it says the vault below the ground, and it's pointing to right here. This is in Old French, especially the phrase in bas. This phrase right here is definitely Old French. So if you go to the top here, now in the show it says that this is the angel, but actually it's la anse. And one of the things that you'll know, and this will come up later, is this person writes their S's with little crosshatches going through the middle of them. So this is la A-N-S-E, which is the bay, also an Old French term. Okay, let's go down here, stay on the left-hand side, go left to right. This is la cena. This is also an Old French term. It's also modern French, I believe, too. But it dates back to Old French. And this says the oak tree. This means the oak tree. And it says enter here. Okay. And then, oh, this is for the what's written up here. This says Island of Oaks. And it's got Old French. And actually, the Old French is a term. The isle is the Old French term. Now they do it with like they drop the S, I think, and put a little apostrophe on the top. But that is an Old French term. Now here we get along all the landmarks that are named on the island. We have La Trou, which is the hole, and then Sus, which is under, and then La Trappe. Now this was an Old French term. It's in the Old French, but it means trap or snare. In the modern French, it means the hatch. So that was really interesting. I don't know what to make of that. But it's, I would say it's more the hatch. The valve, this was a modern French term, and I could not find that in the Old French dictionary, so it's the valve. Now here, and I'm going to show you this, they say this is the December triangle, but this is another Old French term, and it's really hard to see, but you can see right here there's the crosshatch. This is an S at the end. This is a U. It's just connected in with this S. This is D-E-U-S, which is in Old French 2. So this says triangle 2, or in my past references, the second triangle. This is le basin, which is an Old French term. And one of the things about this term here in Old French, it means dirty water or dirty. It actually refers to toilet. So it's pretty interesting. I sort of just interpreted this as it's a stagnant pond, because basin in modern French refers to a small body of water like a pond. So this would mean a stagnant pond. The barge is modern French, which is dam, and the anchors is also used in modern French, which is anchors. And here's the anchor that I think they're going to talk about tonight is the north anchor that they found. It'll be interesting. Now this second one here is the the triangle of Peter. And the reason why I call it the triangle of Peter is because it has a capital P for Pierre. Now this also can be interpreted as rock. So you could say this is the stone triangle, and it is clearly not the stone triangle that we saw in earlier things on the beach. This is a landmark, a triangle, a rock triangle that have yet been mentioned on the show, and I think it's very critical in the triangulation of the money pit. So if we get down to here, this is what dates the map, is the reference right here, which says the landing, and it's spelled out, the year is 1347. So the landing 1347. This year perfectly matches the person that we're going to come to talking about down here. The other thing it says is the Southern Indians work very good, and this is the message that was written by the Young Lion Atonement, which is the person that we're talking. This is him right here, Louis the First of Thayars. He has a long lineage of crusaders in his family. His family was of the House of Thayars 500 years. So this guy is very much royalty, very connected with everybody, really. He was very well known. He's a Norman, which he is also a Norman, and also Henry Sinclair he was also a Norman, and he was the person that who has a legend that he came to North America 100 years before Christopher Columbus. And I think that his family is connected with the House of Thayars. I'm not going to get into it, it's very long. But I don't believe that this Henry Sinclair, the one that went over, was the one that accompanied Louis the First over to his Oak Island adventure. And I truly believe that Louis the First was there. And he wrote, and he presented that map, or he created that map. So, but I think the person that went over with Louis the First was Henry the First Sinclair, was William, his father, and he would be more contemporary, because this person, Henry the First, was only 2 years old when they went over. But I believe that he was integral in the Oak Island deposit, Henry the First. And we'll go back to the map here. So another reference, and I wish I brought it up, I can't do it now, but I also looked into this word Indian, and this word Indian is used as in Old French as a word that refers to not just people from India, but also people from that are indigenous to a place that you're visiting. So whoever says that this is not true because this just refers to people from India are not ill-informed. This term was used in Old French for other peoples other than people from India. And what I want to also say here is this fish down here, I believe, is not a Christian symbol. It's a symbol for food. In other words, what Philip is, or what Lewis is trying to say is that the Indians work well. They either work well for food or they work well to provide food. And I think that was the message. I think the latter is what he's trying to say, is that they work well and they provide you food. If we go up here, in this map here, there's, it's a combination of Old French and Modern French. It was probably used in the Old French time. But this right here is la bateau. I'm not going to try and French. Anyway, this means a large boat, and this means, this barcou is a small boat. In other words, you park the large boat to the west and you row to the east. And if we look at the Google Earth, okay, remember in my last video, I said that it comes up, that the coordinates come up the west side. I think that they're talking about parking the boat here and rowing down here. So we're going to go to Oak Island, and we'll just look at the we're going to look at what they're talking about. They're talking about the anchor stone, which is, it's either here or here. I'm almost thinking now that it's here, North Anchor. And I'll review the 522, 45 522 theory, is that through the triangulation of the money pit, which I call the money trap, according to the cipher of La Formula, you find the money pit and you go 522 feet at 45-degree angle, and you'll find some stairs or a shaft that goes down some stairs, and then from there you will go in a tunnel 1,065 feet till you reach the vault under the earth, which is mentioned on that map. And this diagram, this geometry right here, the black are lines that are connecting actual landmarks that are on Oak Island that were surveyed by Fred Noland. So this geometry here is just not picked out of some made up theory that came to my head. This is actually using data that is already on the island. And tonight, I guess we're going to find out, they're going to find another piece of data, which is major, which is the North Anchor. So I'm really excited to see what they present. If we go back to this, I think we're pretty much finished. I think I have a lot of proof here that this map is, there's too much here to make up, and it's pretty much very involved, and it does have a lot of Old French in it, which would, to mix it in like this is almost I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's a lot of work, to make it like this. Anyway, that's all I have tonight. I will get back to you after the next showing of Oak Island. Thanks for watching.